G'day, welcome to Navadia. Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, if you have been here before, then welcome back, I suppose. If you follow me on Twitter, you would know that on Tuesday I took Lucius, my little danger noodle, I suppose you could call him that, even though he's not that dangerous and just absolutely adorable. I took him to the vet on Tuesday. Just nothing was wrong with him, don't worry. It was just his yearly checkup because, the vet, it's good to know if I'm doing everything right and if I could change anything. So, yeah, I had a chat to the vet about that, and I just thought I'd show everybody what happened. At the time, he was actually in shed, so yeah, he was feeling pretty crappy, which was a bit unfortunate, and unfortunately I was not able to find him in the process of shedding. But hey, that kind of sucks, but what can you do about it? Not a lot, really. A few things that we talked about was his shedding frequency. So as snakes grow, they shed more frequently because, they're growing and they need to, their skin's not like ours. They actually have to remove a layer of skin. So they tend to shed more frequently. Younger ages, it's usually about 6 to 8 weeks, but Lucius is actually shedding every 4 to 6 weeks, so a little bit faster than normal. Because he was shedding so quickly, I was actually starting to be a bit concerned that he was a bit of a chubber, because that might suggest that I'm actually feeding him too much. But no, it was fine. It was fine. There was no pinheading, which I'll explain a bit later. The vet also weighed Lucius, and it was a bit of a mind-blowing experience because the first time I weighed Lucius, he was 14 grams. So it was like, oh, okay. And you will see how much he weighs in the video because clickbait. What I've done is I've put a warm bottle that's been wrapped up for some heat and a t-shirt that I've been wearing for my scent. I don't think it's necessary, but he's never been out of the house before, so I kind of want to keep him as comfortable as possible, especially since he's not feeling too well. All right, matey. Sorry for coming in, dude. All right, that is a very, very, very unhappy looking snake. Sorry, dude. So what you do is just reach in, grab the snake. They try and run away, but I'm sorry, dude. Yeah. So here he is, looking big. And yeah. All right, let's get going off, mate. So he should be shedding today sometime.
Yes, looks like it.
Poor little guy.
So you said he's been shedding quite a bit?
Yes, he's been shedding about once every month and a bit. And yeah, he went blue on Friday, so he should be almost shed today.
$88.
88 grams.
188.
180 grams.
Yes, 188.
Poor little guy. There you go, matey.
Do you mind grabbing the Doppler and we'll grab the ultrasound as well?
No worries.
Okay. She's like, I know this smell, I know this place. Let me hide.
Okay. Oh, yep, up you go.
Yeah, I'll take my jacket off.
That's all right. Well, we'll go through a few things first. So tell me a little bit about Lucius.
Lucius is obviously a children's python. Yep. So after this clip finished, we talked a little bit about Lucius's husbandry. So Lucius lives in a 93 centimetre long tank, which is about 2 feet long. He will eventually grow to about 1 metre to 1.5 metres, but that is perfectly okay because snakes like to curl up and be comfortable in their own little hides. So that's completely fine. That's what the vet said. The vet also asked about Lucius's heat source. So basically what I do is I've got 2 ceramic tiles, the heat mat, the glass, and then another ceramic tile on top. And the reason why I do that is to sort of dissipate that heat with the ceramic tiles, and also the ceramic tiles holds the heat for a longer period of time and also makes it less likely for the snake to burn themselves. So if you've got a heat mat at home or if you're planning on getting a snake, try and make sure that you find yourself a ceramic tile. The vet said that was a good idea, although he did suggest that maybe I should get a heat lamp that comes down on top. So my heat mat is actually thermostat controlled, so I don't actually check the temperature as often as I probably should, which is a bit naughty of me, but usually it hits around about 30 odd degrees Celsius area. So, and the vet said that was fine. The vet did say that I probably should try and think about investing in a UV lamp, because where he's situated, yes, he's next to the glass door, but glass does actually block a lot of the UV light, which he needs to create vitamin D. Another reason why I should consider getting a UV lamp is that it sort of puts heat from the top as well as heat from coming up from underneath from the heat mat. The thing is, when you have a much larger snake, if you only have it coming from the bottom and going up, it kind of gets a bit cold on the top of the snake. But if you have a heat lamp coming down, it sort of just warms the snake all the way through. He said it's not too much of a problem at the moment because Lucius is still a small snake and he can get quite toasty warm using just underneath. And also what I do is I give him a little bit of a hide with the tea towels that I put in his tank, so it sort of traps the heat underneath as well. So it's working so far, but maybe in the future I'm probably going to have to think about that as he gets a bit bigger. When the vet asked me about hides, he asked me what I have, and in my tank I have a big palm frond, which is upside down, and I've got lots of tea towels in there so he can curl up and feel a bit safe under that. As I said, I've got like a tea towel that I made a bit of a hide with, so he can go under that. I've also got a yogurt pot which I've cut in half and put a little door in and melted the sides so he doesn't get scratched. And also I've got a mesh. It's sort of like a rope mesh, kind of like, chicken wire, that kind of thing. I've got that right in the cool side of his tank, so he's got that temperature gradient of heat on one side and cool on the other side, so it helps him regulate his body temperature. So I've got that hide on the other side of his tank. So he's got plenty of hides, which the vet said was completely great, and nothing wrong with that. So yeah, so that was another good thing that he said. One thing I thought you'd probably be interested to know is that I actually spent about $3 in decorating his tank. The vet also told me that I was actually doing the right thing by him when it comes to feeding. And that was something that really, really worried me because of the speed that he grows. I told him that whenever I moved up into the next size of mice, I would overlap a little bit. So I would normally feed, for example, 2 hoppers. And then once he went up to a size larger, which is a weaner, Weaner, not the other word, you dirty minded people. When I went up to a weaner, I would use 1 hopper and 1 weaner, and then I'd do that for a couple of weeks, and then I'd go on to 2 weaners. And he told me that actually was a really good idea and a good thing to do. So that's good. My feeding is fine. He did tell me though I needed to supply some more water, as in Australia we are starting to go into the warmer months. It is now spring, so I need to supply more water. So that's, nothing that I wasn't doing badly beforehand, but now I have to keep that in the back of my mind, which is fine. In regards to his growth, which was the thing that was actually concerning me the most, it's actually on the upper end of the normal range. So he says a little bit fast, but nothing to be concerned about, which was good. Because when somebody feeds a snake too much, when they're growing, their body gets too big for their head, and that's what's called pinheading. That's actually really, really unhealthy for the snake, and it does shorten their lifespan a lot. Some breeders, they feed their snakes that they want to breed extra quickly so they become sexually mature faster. And in my opinion, that's actually quite unethical because, as I said, it's unhealthy for the snake and it's not good for them, and they have a shorter lifespan. One thing I didn't know is that you should never pull hard on a growing snake. They have quite soft bones and you can damage them if you tug too hard. You know what? I'm trying to be professional here and I cannot get away from the innuendos. You dirty minded people, you. In the next clip, you will actually see Lucius having an ultrasound. So this is probably the most interesting part for me. Also, it would have been a great idea if I actually thought to use the tripod my camera was attached to, but, rookie mistake.
So this is a Doppler. Have a listen to the heart.
He's such a friendly little guy too.
Yeah, he's good. Nice to work with. So the next thing I want to do is, I do want to confirm male or female.
Mm-hmm. He's not too fat?
Well, the ultrasound's going to help me with that as well, because we're going to get to actually see.
Oh gosh, can you hold this?
I got it.
Is this Connor? He's like, Mum, I know you. I know that smell, Mum.
So let's go with...
Oh, I'm sorry, Lucius.
More gel.
More gel. Okay, so he's getting ultrasounded. Let's see how this works. All right. So you're not going to probe him, are you?
I'll ultrasound and hopefully we can find out that way, which would be ideal. Okay.
Sorry, I'm just sticking the camera in your face.
That's all right. I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so that's your gallbladder. Right there. And then the reproductive tract will be right next to that. Okay, there's a kidney.
That's good to know he's got one.
Yeah, we should have a second one in there somewhere. I'll find it. Okay, and that looks very much like a testy.
The vet did say that he saw a testy, but even still, he's not 100% sure if Lucius is a male. And the reason is because he's too small. And also, he couldn't find the other testy. However, it doesn't mean that he is not a female, because the ovaries are quite small, probably a few millimeters in a snake that size. So that wouldn't have been picked up by the ultrasound. So there's still a small chance that Lucius is female, but it's about 90% sure that he's a male. The only way that we can 100% check for sure that he is a male is by probing, but the vet didn't want to do that because Lucius is in shed, and to probe when a snake is in shed can actually tear the shed, which is not what you want. You want a nice, clean, healthy shed, because it can cause issues if you can't get all of those scales off and the old skin off. So yes, so that's why he wasn't probed, unfortunately. Next year. In the next clip, you will see that Lucius is getting his mouth checked. And the reason why we're doing that is just to make sure that his mouth is nice and pink and there is no excess mucus. If there is excess mucus, that's an indication that he might have a respiratory infection. Because snakes are essentially a tube with organs, there's actually not a lot of room for those organs to actually exist. And because of that, they only have one functioning lung. They do have two lungs, but one of them is underdeveloped and doesn't work very well. So if a snake gets a respiratory infection, that means that it could be very, very deadly very quickly. And so mucus in the mouth is a symptom of a respiratory infection. And also a discoloration in the mouth also suggests a respiratory infection as well. Sorry, matey. No.
There we go.
That looks
Very normal. There we go.
Overall, the vet did say that he was healthy and not overweight or underweight or anything like that, so I'm pretty happy with that. The husbandry is doing well, with the exception of maybe getting that UV light, and yeah, that's all good, and I'm pretty happy he's happy, and yeah, so next year is when I find out for sure if Lucius is a dude or not, which hopefully he is, because that's going to be a bit weird calling him a she. Anyway, I hope you guys all have a lovely day, evening, night, or whatever time you see this, and don't forget, don't give yourself the raw prawn. And I also want to say a very special thank you to my amazing patrons. They're the ones that helped pay for this vet visit, so thank you very much. I also want to say a very special thank you to my $10 Redback Spider patrons, Aided Thirdwall and Lauren Hart, as well as my $20 Platypus patrons, Atheist Pastor and Jassa G. Thank you very, very much for your support. Totally appreciate it, and so does Lucius. Except for the part with the whole ultrasound thing. Like, I don't think he really enjoyed it at all.